But according to the example of Cain and Abel, every one of us is given the commission to watch. We're watching for one another. Not because one another is the enemy, but because there's an enemy that wants to get in here. I want to tell you tonight, there's an enemy that wants to get in here. And he wants to sit here. He wants to be with. Don't you start thinking about people. This isn't people. It wasn't a person that invaded the garden. It wasn't a serpent that invaded the garden. He was created to live there. It was a fallen angel in spirit form, a spirit that was able to press himself into a human flesh. And it happens again and again and again and again. A spirit will take a hold of you when you're not mixing your faith personally with the Word. I need some help now. A spirit will take a hold of you. It's one thing for a spirit to whisper to you and you swat him up against the wall. But if you give him a place to sit, if you pull up a chair and entertain him more than once, he will take advantage of your spiritual garden. It's only by discernment sometimes. It's only by spirit that we can really recognize that the enemy is not just putting a passing thought in our mind. He intends to occupy the processes of our thinking. He intends to stay long enough to build a paradigm that will affect us for years to come. He desires to stay long enough to create in us a stronghold that will keep us out of all the benefits that God is pouring out all around us. You got to keep putting yourself in. And every time Satan comes to try to disqualify you, you just understand that your qualification, your calling, your commissioning didn't come from darkness. It came from the light. Hallelujah. The devil didn't put you in the garden, and the devil can't take you out of the garden. But he can invade the garden if you're not watching the gate. God could no longer trust Adam to guard the gate. So he had to put cherubims there and a flaming sword that turned in all direction. That speaks to you and I of the two-edged sword of the Word. Adam was no longer trustable in his condition. So God said, I'll put something there that I can trust, a part of me. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. When God positioned that flaming sword at the gate of the garden, east gate of the garden. When God did that, he was positioning a placing of a part of who he was there. It was there to keep the enemy from sabotaging the purposes of God and disturbing the rest in the garden. You know, the enemy can't take your garden unless you let him in.